aujourd'hui?
Oui, absolument. Je suis excité. J'ai hâte que ça commence. Ça fait quoi, trois semaines qu'on se prépare pendant le camp d'entraînement. Donc, on a travaillé fort. On est prêt pour ce match-là de ce soir. C'est excitant. C'est un Canadien Leaf, ça devient pas mieux que ça. Fait que bien excité pour ce soir.
On parle beaucoup du match de ce soir. Un voyage important, 3-4 jours dans les Original Six.
Ouais.
Comment tu trouves ça de débuter l'année de cette façon-là, 3 partir à 4 jours sur la route? Ça reste un...
Ça va être un bon défi. Je pense que la cédule cette année va être très difficile à cause des Olympiques, là, évidemment, mais on est confiant. On est où, on se situe où, qu'est-ce qu'il faut travailler, puis c'est ça, j'ai hâte que ça commence aussi.
Tu n'étais pas là l'année dernière, mais ça avait été un départ difficile, puis le Canadien s'était un peu creusé un trou, a réussi à s'en sortir quand tu es arrivé. Je pense qu'on peut dire que c'est grâce à toi.
Pourquoi riez? Là,
ce serait quoi la clé pour être en mesure de rester dans le moment présent et s'assurer de commencer la saison de bon pied?
Oui, c'est juste se concentrer sur les petits détails. Je pense que c'est rien. C'est pas d'essayer de faire des choses trop compliquées. C'est vraiment de travailler en équipe. On a parlé beaucoup de systèmes des dernières semaines. On a eu, je pense, des bonnes games pré-saison aussi. Fait que c'est d'arriver avec confiance, mais pas de overconfidence. C'est vraiment de juste arriver à faire les bonnes choses, être détaillé, constant, évidemment. Puis ouais, les débuts de saison sont très importants, surtout avec le calendrier qu'on va avoir. Tu ne veux pas arriver en février puis être courir après ta queue. Fait que ça va être super important cette semaine. Ouais.
Il y a des nouveaux gars sur le désavantage numérique. Sur risque d'avoir aussi un nouveau partner. On a vu que tu as travaillé pas mal avec Harbour aussi en désavantage numérique. D'aller chercher les chiffres de l'année passée, parce qu'il était quand même bon en désavantage numérique. Y a-tu un challenge là?
Oui, je pense qu'on perd plusieurs joueurs qui étaient sur le désavantage l'an passé. Mais je pense qu'avec la profondeur qu'on a cette année, on a des joueurs qui sont capables de prendre leur place, de step up. On a fait quelques changements que j'aime. Je pense que ça va favoriser notre groupe. Mais je pense que quand tu as un gardien de but comme Monty, puis tu as des gars comme Matheson, Evans, Anderson qui ont beaucoup été sur le désavantage numérique l'an passé, je pense que les gars qui rentrent après, c'est juste pour complémenter. Puis ça, je suis pas inquiet pour le désavantage.
Do you guys have to take time for that to come together? Like usually when a penalty kill is really effective, it's because everybody really knows what the other guy's going to do next.
Yeah, a little bit. I think it's a lot about chemistry, but we have rules into the penalty kill that everybody understands. After that, it's about communication because, the Leafs tonight, they have a great power play. They're going to do some stuff that's going to push our limits to where the rules are going to. So just about communication. But you're right, it takes sometimes a little time. But I think we've practiced it. And Jake and Andy play together, and then now Billy. So it's I think we're a confident group, yeah.
Aimes-tu affronter les Leafs dès le départ, l'équipe avec qui vous allez devoir vous battre probablement pour une place en série jusqu'à la fin de l'année?
Oui, moi je trouve ça excitant. Ça a été le fun un samedi soir, là, comme à la maison, mais non, affronter les Leafs tout le temps, ça rajoute tout le temps quelque chose, on dirait. Ça va être intense. J'ai bien hâte que ça commence.
On faisait des blagues tantôt sur le fait que c'est ta fête une année de plus, mais vous êtes l'équipe la plus jeune de la Ligue quand même.
Ouais.
Comment tu peux décrire cette dynamique-là? Je veux dire, même toi qui n'es pas si vieux que ça, tu es comme je pense, 3e plus vieux, quelque chose comme ça.
Je viens d'avoir 25 ans, là, gars. Non, c'est surprenant. Tu me promènes dans la chambre puis j'ai pas l'impression d'être vieux, mais je suis parmi les plus vieux. Mais je pense que c'est peut-être pour ça qu'on est aussi proches. Les gars sont plus jeunes, les gars n'ont pas d'enfants, les gars vont souper ensemble à la maison, sur la route. Puis ça nous rapproche vraiment. On a une belle énergie dans la chambre, les gars sont toujours positifs. Puis c'est ça, on est des jeunes loups affamés.
Avez-vous suffisamment de gars, même s'ils sont jeunes, qui se comportent comme des vétérans, par contre, à ton avis?
Oui, absolument. On a plusieurs gars que ça fait 3, 4, 5 saisons qui sont là. Même si je pense à Slav qui a 21 ans, mais c'est sa 4e saison. On a beaucoup de joueurs comme ça, Newhook, Gooley, je pourrais en nommer beaucoup, mais on a beaucoup de maturité dans la chambre, même avec des jeunes âges.
Alex, the priority that Marty's placed on defending up ice and sort of preventing teams from entering your zone cleanly and what have you, like what are the components of that that's going to be required for that team, and what's difficult about it?
You have to be skating at all times and be able to stops. You can't always loop, but it's about. I think the most complicated thing is reads. You got to read where the puck's going, where your teammates are. But I think our system's pretty simple. We just gotta, if everybody's on the same page, then it's really easy. But yeah, you got to be skating and be aware of where your teammates are to make sure you're going into the right spot.
Is that you don't have time for loops? Is that it?
Well, sometimes that's the tricky thing. Like sometimes you have time. Like sometimes you need to loop, but most of the time you gotta put the brakes on and slow down a bit and see and adjust, stuff like that.
Merci Alex. Merci. Bonne saison.
Merci beaucoup.
Like back
Morning.
You, Alex said something interesting. He said we're young, and he said, but we're hungry as a team. You feel that's what you see from your team right now?
Yeah, I think we got a lot of confidence coming into the season. I think we're a hungry group. We want more of that success that we had at the end of the season, and starts tonight. And we've had a really good camp, and guys have been super motivated, and just excited to get things going.
What did you learn about the blueprint? Like, what does it take?
Yeah, I think we just kind of learned what it takes to win in this league, and every single play out there matters, and you have to manage the game properly, take risks and play smart when they're there. It's all the little details that we learned last year is going to help us throughout the season, and I think we have a pretty good idea of what we need to do every night.
The schedule's going to be compressed for everyone this season, but your schedule early on seemed pretty manageable. Do you look at that and be like, okay, well, this is our opportunity to really gain some points, and because of the nature of the schedule, has become more important this year than in other years?
I think every team is going to have maybe more manageable stretches, and some are less, 4 games in 6 nights or something. But it's every game's important, every point's important. We've learned that last year, and just getting in the last game, and I think our start last year really set us up into a big hole. So we're trying to not have that happen again.
I know last year you said you didn't want the team to get younger, and now the numbers came out that you're the youngest team and by a pretty good margin. How have you changed your mind at all about this, and how do you? Sorry, I'm just losing my words. But
Yeah. I got you.
Thanks.
I think yeah, we got younger in age, but I think we still have guys that have a lot of experience in playing in the league, and like Dauber's a young defenseman, but he's played the same amount of years as me, so he's got a lot of experience. Yeah, we don't have a lot of rookies that have to slowly bring along. So it's exciting. I mean, I think being a young team is a lot of fun. We got a lot of guys with similar age groups, and Galley's feeling super old right now. So we got a great group, and we're excited to get going.
Nick, you set a new baseline for yourself, not just in terms of points, but in terms of the way you play. Just how do you build on that?
Yeah, I think there's obviously still room for improvement, and that's just going to come with me and the guys that I'm surrounded with, and we're all improving, and it makes my life easier when I have all the good players around me. So there's still things that I can clean up in my game, and there's still the ceiling to chase after. So I'm excited for that for myself.
How do you like the nature of, Marty keeps mentioning there's your line, and then we have a whole bunch of options after that. So it looks like we'll be able to ice kind of a balanced lineup up front, pretty much no matter what combinations he chooses. Like just having other scoring types with other lines, how do you think that could help your line?
Yeah, it's nice to have that depth, and I take our four lines up against almost anybody. So I'm excited for that. We got scoring up and down the lineup, and definitely puts maybe a little less pressure on our line to produce offensively, and makes it tougher for teams to match up if other lines are going offensively.
Toronto's a bit of a different team now. Obviously, Marner's not there, and how do you has the approach or the challenge changed in any way facing them now than in previous years?
Yeah, I think their approaches kind of changed a little bit. They got some new guys, some bigger forwards. They play a really pretty steady defensive game, and let their talent up front do the offensive side. So through the preseason, and their team gave it to us a little bit in Montreal, and we came here and had another good game in Toronto. So I'm expecting a pretty tight game, and defensively we got to be ready for that, and offensively it'll be a challenge breaking them down.
When you first played in this game as a younger guy, how difficult was it to focus? It's opening night, it's on national TV, it's a big event in Toronto. Some of the guys were experiencing it for the first time. And what is the challenge of really dialing in and playing the way you're supposed to play on this stage?
Yeah, you don't want to make it too big. Everyone's excited. There's obviously a lot of attention on this game, especially with the two fan bases, and you don't want to make it something that feels too big in this situation. So I know we're excited. We've been through this together as a core group for a few years now, so I think we know what to expect coming in here.
What do you see from Ivan Demidov? What do you think is going to happen for him this season?
It's a tough question. I think there's so much potential there, and we'll see what he can do in this league. And it's been impressive to watch him through training camp and summer, and he's coming into a whole different world over here, and learning our systems and playing the NHL game. And I think he's a quick learner, so I think he's going to be a really good player, really fast.
Do you have to help him manage expectations at all? Just because he's been so good everywhere he's gone, and it's not easy to watch in this league.
I think so. Yeah, I don't know what he expects from himself yet. By looking at it, I think he expects a lot. So it would be just managing ups and downs throughout the season. Trying to keep him in a good mindset, and if he goes a couple games, whether it's scoring or producing, you don't want him to really lose that confidence and what the ability that gives him to take over games. So it's pretty cool that he's able to do that at this age, and who knows what he's going to be in the future.
The average of this team, I mean, age-wise, we can already consider you as a veteran. This is a new season, but the first season as a veteran. Am I right if I say that for you?
Yeah, sure. It is weird being I think I'm the fourth oldest now, but this team, a lot of these guys got into the league young, and they've got a lot of good experience so far, so we might be the youngest team on paper, but some of these younger guys have gotten experience that a lot of other teams haven't gotten.
There's a few new players on the PK on your team, on your side. Will it be a good challenge tonight, I guess, to see if they're going to be good at it?
Yeah, it's it's one of the most skilled power plays in the league in the past 2 years, and they've been together for a while, so it will be a great challenge. And watching from preseason, some of the guys are going to step in tonight. They look great. They're on the same page, and we have full confidence in them.
Is it tough to learn to play on the PK?
I'm sure there's small adjustments, I guess, in the way you have to play certain things, and but honestly, again, watching the guys that are stepping in tonight, they look like they've been doing it for a while now, and again, I have full confidence in them tonight.
That power play lost. That power play lost a pretty big piece though over the summer, and they had the same personnel for a few years. So does it? I mean, do you expect some major changes in how they do it, and how you're going to need to defend against that?
Maybe a little bit. I think with Marner, he liked to move around. He's more of a pass first kind of player, and now without him, it might be shot first mentality. I'm not too sure. We're gonna have to watch it a bit later and see that scouting. But again, they've played together for a while now. They have great chemistry, all those guys, and we'll have to be ready for a big challenge.
You guys had some runs where you were extremely successful on the power play on the penalty kill last year. So, what were the ingredients that went into that?
I mean, one is being connected. It's the buy-in from everyone, and being on the same page, and then I think a big thing that helped us is almost trying to be a step ahead of the other team and seeing what they might try and do and talk about how we can handle that before they score on us or they get a grade A chance. So it's been a work in progress, I think, the past few years, and guys are really committed to improving that and not just happy with having a perfect game or a few good games. It's always trying to get better and staying ahead of things.
When you look at the new hand duo, which is one of the new components, what do you see as a potential as that?
I mean, both really smart players. I think that helps reading plays. They both have good sticks and they both have good speed. So those are three really good things to penalty kill to kill plays and then frustrate opponents.
I know the team didn't do a whole lot of morning skates last year on the road. Being here instead of at the arena, especially on a big game like today, does it feel a little less like a big game? Like, do you have a little less of the big game feeling?
Yeah, sometimes when you come to Toronto, there's a lot going on, and especially for a home opener, season opener, and it's nice to just be with the guys, take care of all of our meetings here, and sometimes when you're on the road, you have the later ice too, so you get back a little later. So some guys with new parents like me get a little longer naps right now, so I'm excited about that.
Jake, Evan came here last year, got his feet wet. You spent the summer with him. You've had a chance to kind of see the build-up for him in terms of his own personal preparation for this season. What are you expecting out of
You know what? He's obviously a really talented player, but the thing that impressed me the most is how good of a person he's been. Always trying to learn. Doesn't care if you're, a lot less skilled than him. He's always trying to learn from everyone. He's been just a really great teammate. So, what do I expect from him? I can't say numbers or anything like that, but he's a great player and a great teammate. So I'm just excited to see what he does.
Who would you be referring to as being a lot less skilled?
I think you know who. I think we know.
Yeah. In terms of you've been skating with Patty for a little while here. I don't know what you're doing tonight, but I presume that he's going to be there. Like, Marty's been talking about the importance of his 5-on-5 game elevating a little bit. How have you seen that? How have you seen that work so far, and what can you guys do to maybe help him out a little bit in that area?
Yeah, I mean, Patty's taken some pretty big steps, I think, the last few games in his 5-on-5, and everyone's noticed that. He's getting it on the forecheck. He's annoying to play against defensively, and when he does those things, a lot more will open up, and we obviously know what he can do offensively and with his shot. So I think for me and Andy, it's open things up for him, support him wherever we can, and just get him the puck so he can shoot it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Alex Carrier est intéressant. Il dit on est jeune, c'est vrai, on a des genoux affamés. Est-ce que tu sens ça de tes joueurs?
Oui, on est jeune, mais on n'est pas. On a de l'expérience. Notre jeunesse a de l'expérience. Fait que c'est pas comme si c'est son niveau dans la ligue. On est dans un stage un petit peu plus avancé. On continue à évoluer comme équipe, mais notre jeunesse, je pense pas que c'est une lacune. Moi, je le vois quasiment comme un avantage.
Jake Evans,
comment?
Dans quel sens tu le vois comme un avantage?
L'énergie, l'enthousiasme.
Jake Evans commence une saison un peu avec un statut de vétéran. Le nombre d'années qu'il est ici et tout. Est-ce que, pour toi, c'est un gars qui a le profil de montrer un bon exemple? Est-ce qu'il a le profil d'un vrai bon vétéran?
Oui, je pense que la manière qu'il se comporte sur la glace, hors glace, c'est un bel exemple. Il joue un rôle très important pour nous autres. Peut-être un petit peu du côté défensif, mais c'est un joueur que, oui, avec son expérience, son bagage et tout, que les joueurs, ils gravitent.
Le matin, un premier match, est-ce que ça reste toujours un sentiment unique ou spécial?
Oui, c'est sûr, c'est le début, c'est comme n'importe quoi. Tu es excité, puis c'est d'amener les bonnes intentions, qui ne garantissent rien, mais qui montrent les pourcentages pour nous autres d'avoir du succès. Puis, parce que le début de saison est toujours excitant, il est important, mais après ça, la normalité y arrive. Puis là, c'est ça, quand tu arrives à la normalité, ça, c'est le stage qui est encore plus important. Parce que là, tu n'as pas l'excitement extérieur, début de saison et tout. C'est comme n'importe quoi dans la vie, mais c'est d'y aller une étape à la fois, puis on va commencer avec ce match-là ce soir.
Ton niveau d'enthousiasme, quand tu parles, quand tu regardes, Toronto, à Détroit, Chicago, partir l'année 3 en 4, à quel point justement c'est plus fort dans ces 3 villes-là, mais que c'est un gros challenge 3 en 4 sur
Ouais. Je me concentre sur une game à soir. Je pense même pas à 3 en 4. Non.
You mentioned the other day that Patty's last 2 games were the best 5-on-5 games you've seen. What are the specific elements of what he did in those games that really stood out to you and that were real signs of improvement in that area?
I think it's just his work ethic defensively and his commitment to the details and the structure we want to play defensively. You know, to me, like, playing hard defensively is structure's part of it, but it's an attitude, you know. And he's shown me that the last 2 games, and I'm very encouraged because, you know, when he raised that level, you know, you can play him anywhere. You can move him up the lineup a little bit in situations, and you know he's going to be a threat on the power play. But you know, we want to be coming in waves, and when Patty shows that, it allows us to come in waves.
Have you ever talked with him about puck management at all?
Of course, we talk to every player about that.
Marty, Ivan Demidov really has game-breaking potential, and I think it's clear he believes that in himself as well. From an off-ice perspective, how do you keep him balanced with his desire to like really change the game or impact it with just doing the things that you always talk about, just be the ordinary thing?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think like any young players, like, you know, he's going to have to learn to pick his spot, and learning is not going to be linear, you know, and he's going to learn from his failures sometime. But we're going to try to steer him in the direction, and he's going to see how, you know, hopefully he can absorb and how the rest of the group is doing that. And as a young player, you know, you got to fall in to me, or else you just stick out like a sore thumb. So he's going to have to pick his spot, but we understand that there's going to be some learning to do there.
So can I just ask you what your impression is of that? Like, as a guy who was able to produce high-end offense in this league, from what you've witnessed just watching him play, like, what do you see?
Well, he has the tools to do extraordinary things, you know. But if the whole game you're trying to do extraordinary things, you know, you might put yourself in the bad spot, or the team. So he's got to have to find that balance, and we're going to try to steer him in that direction and do some teaching probably along the way. But you know, Demi's a team player, you know, and he's going to have to learn how to play with his strength, but also take care of the team along the way.
Is Lane an asset for you in that sense?
Excuse me?
Is Lane an asset for you in that sense? But I think there was the same kind of
Yeah,
there was the same learning
yeah, he is, and correct. He did some learning last year, you know, and it's a hard league, and he learned with some of his failures, but I felt like we got him to a pretty good spot where, you know, he could still do extraordinary things, but he was doing a lot of simple stuff and taking care of the team.
Can he help you in that process with Demidov?
Yeah, I mean, I think every player has had an opportunity to influence others. Could be conversation, could be just examples. You know, Susie's a great example of how he leads, you know, and I think guys around absorb that, you know.
Ce trio-là avec justement Kapanen et Demidov n'ont pas beaucoup de matchs d'expérience dans la Ligue. Tôt dans la saison, comme ça, c'est un trio que tu vas essayer de protéger de certaines situations, particulièrement à l'étranger. Le temps de voir comment la dynamique va se placer
Non, je pense pas.
eux autres.
Je pense pas. Bon, le comportement, le match, il va nous diriger dans une direction, comment on va les utiliser, mais j'ai pas un sentiment là, de les protéger.
C'est-tu basé sur ce que tu as vu au camp en match préparatoire qui te laisse croire que...
Je pense que c'est basé sur le comportement global depuis le début du camp. Capi l'année passée, nous, l'évolution de nous aussi. C'est pas basé sur un match.
Tu vas savoir assez vite ce soir, un peu, parce que vous affrontez une équipe qui a un profil de challenge pour eux, peut-être.
Je pense que ça va être un challenge pour tout le monde. On n'a pas le dernier changement. On va essayer de trouver une cadence qui va nous aider, mais il faut aller jouer au hockey. Il faut que tu saches quand ils sont sur la glace, le gros joueur.
Tu as des nouveaux joueurs sur ton piqué. On sait que les produits sont assez forts sur le powerplay. Est-ce que tes gars ont eu assez de répétitions pour ces gars-là particulièrement pour être prêts à faire face
Je crois que oui, mais ça ne dérange pas que ce que je crois présentement. C'est comment qu'on va aller exécuter. Mais j'ai confiance. Excuse me? Yeah, yeah.